Roman Khan here for Seconds Out in New York with top trainer Andy Lee. Andy, sir, how you doing?
Fine. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Even better to be speaking to you in New York of all places, I guess. First time here. Look, Berlanga, he's been built up to be a big monster, a fighter on the rise. But how big of a test is this for Quigley? How big of a shot is it for Quigley?
Well, I see it as an opportunity, and a great one at that, in terms of where it can take Jason. Berlanga is a young, strong fighter, and one on the rise. But I see some holes in his games. I see if Jason can box like he can box, like I know he can box. It's a very winnable fight for Jason, and a chance to put himself back on the map.
Is that the only way Jason can win the fight, by pure boxing? Is there other avenues to success for him on Saturday?
No, Jason will have to fight. What's the aim of boxing? Hit and don't be hit. And that's always what I train my fighters to do, not to. I don't really train sluggers or people. Even if I did train an aggressive fighter, it'd still be, the objective would be not to get hit first. But Jason has to box. And he has to get some respect from Berlanga as well. He can't run from him. He has to stand and fight at some stage. And it's just about picking the right moments.
Is that the important key to victory here, mitigating those moments when those trades do happen?
Yeah, well, Berlanga's going to try to be aggressive and come forward. I think they're going to try and steamroll Jason, or think they can walk through him after the Andrade fight and other performances. But Jason's never really shown how good he can be in a fight. But I think the timing has kind of come together in terms of the stars aligning for Jason. In terms of, he had a fight in April, he had that time out, had to really reassess after the Andrade fight what he wanted to do. Has proven his hunger to me in the gym, and this opportunity came up and I was all for it. So we'll see. It's a good test for me as a coach as well, because when you're working with the best fighters, usually you're a favourite going into their fight, but when you're going in as underdog, that's when you really show how good you are. So I'm looking forward to the challenge, and I know Jason is too.
You mentioned something that I thought was quite pertinent. We've never really seen the best of Jason Quigley in the ring. Why do you feel that is? And do you think you can unlock that from him this Saturday?
I think there's a number of reasons why. Most of it comes down to the fighter himself. With the Andrade fight, it couldn't have gone any worse for him, really, in terms of me not being able to travel, him sustaining a broken jaw in the first round, and it all just went out the window, the game plan and everything else. So why we've never seen the best of Jason Quigley? I think sometimes he gets in his own way, can overthink things, and gets in his own head, and when you haven't got your coach there to tell you to bring you through that, it's very difficult. So my job as a boxing coach is to prepare him physically but also mentally. And I believe I've done that. I think he's in a good place now. I'm just trying to keep him there till he gets in that ring.
The Irish support is very much famed, and you'll obviously been someone who's experienced it firsthand. Does that come as a support, but a bit of a burden as well, to perform for them specifically on big fights like this? You'll have felt it yourself.
Yeah, listen. The thing everyone has, I say to them, my fighters all the time, like, you put these days or these nights, these fights up on a pedestal because it's a big arena and it's a big crowd and the cameras are there and it's such a big platform and X, Y, and Z. But when you boil it all down, there's no difference from the everyday things you're doing in the gym. When you're sparring, you got smaller gloves on, no headgear, but the punches are the same speed, they're the same power. And so you just strip it all back and simplify it. And that's what I've been trying to do for Jason. Because if he can do what he does in the gym, he can win.
Just sticking on Jason, are we getting to the point where it's maybe the last stretches of his career, or at least the last shot towards getting world title shots and those opportunities?
Yeah, he has to win this fight. If he's got to fulfill his potential when he was an amateur, when he was European champion, when no one was European champion as amateurs back in whatever it was, 2007, 2006. I'm not sure, but no one was winning amateur titles when Jason Quigley was winning amateur titles. So it's huge potential there, and it will be, if he can't, not that, listen, it's very hard to win a world title. No one knows more than me, but it will be an injustice to him and his talent if he doesn't go on beyond this level. If he doesn't beat Berlanga and become like a legitimate contender.
Sticking on yourself, but veering away to other fighters. Joseph Parker. Look, at Joseph was active quite recently. What's latest with Joe Parker in terms of getting out again?
Trying to get a fight. I'm ready to fight anybody and will fight anybody. I had a good knockout. It was a good exercise for him. And if we don't get a big fight, we'll just try and keep busy. Fight again in July or August. And listen, if the big fights, we're not going to hang around waiting for big fights. I'd like Joseph to keep busy, keep winning. He's still improving all the time.
A couple of fighters I want to mention for Joe. First of all, a rematch with Dylan White. Dylan White seems to be frustrated with an offer that's not forthcoming that appeases him to Anthony Joshua. Those two fought last time. It was a very exciting fight. I'd like to see the rematch between the two.
Yeah. As I said, listen, they're all good fights for Joseph Parker. All of them. And Joseph has an exciting style. He always comes to fight, so you're not going to see a bad fight with him. Anthony Joshua, Dillian White, a rematch with Joyce. All of these fights that we'd like for Joseph. Big fights. Andy Ruiz, Michael Hunter. But we'll see if they can get it sorted.
When I last spoke to Michael Hunter, he said that the fight was signed between the two. What did happen there, to your knowledge?
No, the fight was never signed.
Okay.
But they agreed to fight each other. Just, listen, has to be staged, doesn't it? We have to get it promoted to put them on. I don't know. I'd like the Hunter fight for Joseph. I think it's a good fight for him. So we'll see.
What is his current status? Is he still with Boxer?
Joseph Parker?
Yeah.
I think he's a free agent. I'm not sure what he is, but yeah.
Well, a couple of things I want to chat to you. It seems very strange in this day and age that the world heavyweight champion finds himself in Tyson Fury, finds himself struggling for an opponent. I can't get my head around that, Andy.
Well, they've got to make a mandatory for him, I guess, don't they? Force him to have a mandatory with somebody. But I've been with Tyson and I've been with him recently, and I know how hard he's trying to make these fights. AJ Usyk, he's tried his hardest to make these fights, and he's getting so I don't know how he's come out the wrong end of it. In the public persona, but I know for a fact, I can stand by it, Tyson has tried to make these fights.
Why do you think the public Tyson is on the end of it, the wrong end of it by the public?
I don't know. Ask the public.
I'll round them up at some point. There is an offer on the table. It's a Fury versus John Jones or Ngannou offer for a hybrid fight. Is that a fight you want to see?
Nah. Honest. Listen, if Tyson wants to go and have those fights and make good money doing it, but I want to see him in the ring where he belongs against the best, because that's where you see the best of Tyson. And in some ways, they're being robbed of his best years because they're putting him on the shelf. They're kind of blocking him out. But I'd like to see him into one of the best before the year's out. Who is it? Who do you fight? Usyk. It's got to be Usyk, isn't it? Before the end of the year.
But let's talk about like a stopgap opponent. No disrespect to who that will be, but it doesn't seem to be anyone's forthcoming.
No, well, that's it. He probably needs a fight just on activity-wise, Tyson. But we'll see. I have no idea what's going on, what this new big announcement is. But hopefully it's something good.
There is some whispers of an Anthony Joshua versus Jarrell Miller fight. I wonder, look, with Jarrell Miller's past and looking to kind of clean his image up, I guess, with what's happened in the past, is there interest from your side to see that fight and Jarrell Miller get that opportunity?
Yeah, there is. I think it's a good fight. It sells well. Jarrell Miller's a handful as well. Huge guy, huge heavy guy. But everyone, it's a good. Well, there will be a good story behind the fight. One day they were supposed to fight before, it didn't happen. Failed drug test, controversial figure. It's a sellable fight.
Should he be forgiven for the past, given the repeated indiscrepancies?
Listen, that's a whole nother. How do I feel? Should he? No, probably not. He shouldn't be given the opportunity. He shouldn't be given a chance. Taking drugs in fights is pretty despicable.
Any other opponent you'd like to see from Joshua? Talk of maybe a Caballel, Otto Wallin potentially.
Joseph Parker.
Joseph Parker.
Yeah, Parker. Caballel's a very good boxer, and not an exciting fighter. Like in terms of him and Joshua. Jarrell Miller, I think, is better style in terms of getting people involved and watching an interesting fight. It's definitely going to be Miller. Who's the other one you mentioned?
Caballel.
And who's the other one you mentioned?
Otto Wallin.
Yeah, Wallin comes to fight. Wallin's a good fighter. But the southpaw, and maybe should have fought Wallin before he fought Usyk. Just had one in between to prepare. But no, AJ and Joseph Parker. It's a good fight.
Why do you think an offer hasn't come for Joe Parker to fight Joshua?
I think Joe's still dangerous for any of these guys. Joe's improving. And I don't know why. But listen, maybe they fought Parker. Don't want to go over that again. Who knows? Yeah.
Final two questions. I will let you go, Andy. So it's a very good conversation, obviously, when it's speaking to you, picking your brain. Look, that Wilder fight is on the horizon for Anthony Joshua, it seems, and Deontay Wilder spoke recently, said he doesn't think anything will get in the way. If those two do meet in the ring, who do you favour of the two?
Hard to pick a winner, and whoever lands first, I think. Whoever lands the big punch first, because you can see how Josh could win, probably better fundamentally, and can punch, but also Wilder has that speed and also one-punch power. So I think whoever lands first will win.
People will say boxing is a brutal sport. The boxing public are brutal at times. If Joshua does lose, he's done. Is that a fair statement to say that if he does lose to Wilder?
I don't know. I never say that about anybody, because you can't write anybody off. And I wouldn't read too much into Anthony Joshua's last fight against Franklin, because I know from my own personal experience, and I know from all the fights I train, after a first loss, you're always a bit hesitant. And you need to go through the rounds, get the rounds and get the fights in to get rid of that little bit of whatever it is, just a little bit of hesitancy. You don't let your hands go with the same type of. You always hold back a little bit. I can see that, and I could see it in that fight. But another fight or two, and he'll be back to his best.
And lastly, talk about people will write off Jason Quigley, but I've actually heard a lot of whispers about people picking Quigley to win the fight. What does happen on Saturday night?
Jason wins, and I think does it in good style. I think he might have to weather some stormy moments, but I think as longer the fight goes, the more confidence Jason will get, and the better he'll box.
Andy, real pleasure speaking to you. Thanks for speaking to me in Seconds Out. Much appreciated, sir.